Hi, and welcome back to CLI's 15 on Friday. Each month, our team sits down to discuss the latest topics in education, equity, and advocacy for Black and Latinx students. I'm Jordy Owen, Managing Director of Marketing and Branding, and I'm excited to be joined today by my friend and colleague, Caryn Henning. Caryn, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at CLI?
Thanks, Jordy. I'm happy to be here. As Managing Director of Content Development and Program Design, my team is largely responsible for the development of the professional development, tools, and resources utilized by both our school-based teams and our educators.
Excellent. For those of you who don't know, Caryn works out of our New Jersey location, so it's really exciting to have her here in Philadelphia with us. And Caryn, you've been working in education since 1995. And we've seen since that time education policies come and go, pedagogy evolve, and the way that teachers receive professional development change. Can you walk us through how your career has evolved over the last few years?
I'd be happy to, Jordy. Well, to start, to work in education and serve children means that you're always learning and evolving. Over the years, I've witnessed numerous changes in policy, pedagogy, and professional development. However, I would say that the past few years have undoubtedly offered the most exciting and impactful evolution in my journey as an educator. We've seen significant advancements in three key areas I think are worth highlighting. The first is our understanding of how children learn to read. It's grown exponentially. It's not just about one practice or one approach. We recognize that reading is a complex skill requiring consistent and comprehensive instruction. We're always building our reading skills. Second is the availability of high-quality professional development for educators. As an industry, we have moved beyond a one-size-fits-all approach to workshops to a more targeted, ongoing support that aligns with evolving research and centers children. And third, the recognition of cultural relevance. Perhaps the most crucial evolution has been the recognition that teaching and learning can't and shouldn't be colorblind. We now understand and are talking about the fact that effective practices must affirm and respond to children's whole identities. I think it's this shift that really acknowledges the historical inequities that have disproportionately impacted Black and Latinx learners. It means that we implement instructional approaches that meet each student where they are and is inclusive of their background and their learning needs. And finally, it ensures that literacy instruction celebrates and supports students' differences rather than focusing solely on deficits.
Yeah, I totally agree. And at CLI, we recognize that literacy and learning to read is a civil right. We serve a diverse group of children, and our organization focuses on ensuring that Black and Latinx children receive the same high-quality, culturally sustaining literacy instruction as their peers. How does the intersection of equity, race, and the science of reading provide space for teachers to cater to the needs of their students?
I think it provides the most exciting opportunity for educators. The science of reading, when viewed through an equity lens, emphasizes the importance of affirming and responding to students' identities and languages, and this approach allows teachers to make sure that they are incorporating diverse texts that reflect students' cultures and experiences, to use instructional strategies that build on children's existing knowledge and linguistic resources, and to create a classroom environment that values and celebrates cultural diversity, places where Black and Latinx children feel a profound sense of belonging.
Over the past few decades, we've seen a slew of policy like Nation at Risk, No Child Left Behind, Common State Standards, and such that attempt to combat the U.S.'s literacy crisis. Keeping science of reading at the forefront, how can educators bridge the gap between the science of reading and the current repertoire of responsible instructional practices?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this. The science of reading offers incredible, valuable insights, but bridging the gap between this research and current instructional practices is going to require a thoughtful, nuanced approach. Here's how educators, I think, could effectively navigate this transition. First, educators should engage in a thorough and honest evaluation of their current methods. They should reflect on which approaches are truly benefiting students and which may need adjustment. They should examine instructional materials critically, ensuring that they are not only aligned with evidence-based practices, but honor the children in the classroom. And they should consider how well their current methods serve diverse learners, particularly those from historically marginalized communities. It's crucial to examine as well our own beliefs about learning and literacy. So teachers need to challenge assumptions about how children learn to read. We need to recognize that change can be uncomfortable, but necessary for growth. And we should continue to remain open to new ideas while valuing our professional experience. Ultimately, we want to remember that learning to read is a complex developmental process. We want to recognize that different children may need different approaches at different times, and understand that effective literacy instruction involves multiple components working together. I would also encourage teachers to make sure they're incorporating evidence-based practices thoughtfully. So we want to make sure that we have a systematic approach to teaching phonics, phonological awareness, and other code-based skills for learning to read. And we want to balance this with rich vocabulary instruction and exposure to great literature. And we want to maintain a focus on comprehension and joyful reading. Another thing I would encourage teachers to do in order to bridge this gap is to make sure that they're fostering an environment where all children feel valued and excited about reading. That means we are choosing diverse texts that reflect and celebrate our students' cultures and experiences, that we're creating opportunities for children to see themselves as capable readers and writers, and again, making reading joyful and engaging rather than a series of drills. I would also encourage teachers to make sure that they're becoming an integral part of the communities that they serve. That means you get to know your students' families and communities, and incorporate community knowledge and experiences into your teaching.
So I think something that I've always appreciated about CLI's professional development is that it gives teachers that time and support they need to reflect on their practices and materials, and also reflect on just what is working for the children in their classroom. And in the white paper, Equity in the Science of Reading, you, alongside Dr. Dimitra Disotor, Sarah Lazaro, and Erica Holmes-Ware, outline a few ways that teachers can strengthen their skills when it comes to helping children understand the complexities of learning to read, especially those tips that you just shared with us. Learning to read requires children to receive support from teachers, parents, and caregivers, as you stated. Do you have any tips for families in the process?
I think first I would start with telling families to just trust themselves. If they approach reading with their children with joy and care, it's going to be time well spent with them. So again, reading with and to children regularly if we can, encouraging children to use all of their language practices when engaging with texts, getting excited over words. That's learning new words, using new words. We could be great models for children when we express our excitement over learning new words. And to support children to think critically about what they're reading, whose voices and experiences are centered and whose voices are left out.
Well, that's all the time that we have today. Thank you, Caryn, so much for making the trip up here to sit down and talk with us. Can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
My pleasure, Jordy. You can find me on LinkedIn at Caryn Henning.
Thank you so much for joining us. And to learn more about Children's Literacy Initiative and our work, head over to cli.org/about-us. This show is written and produced by Children's Literacy Initiative and made possible through our donors. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.